She would not be my emergency contact, that's for sure. It's hard for me to trust. Hello, welcome to today's video. My name is Emmy, and today I want to talk to you about Throne of Glass. I do want to warn you, towards the end of this video, there will be some spoilers, but for now, I want to just talk to you about my experience with reading the book, talk to you about the world, talk to you about some of the characters, but I will definitely let you know when the spoilers are coming up, so you could just kind of skip through that. I do also want to mention I started this series with reading Throne of Glass. I know that there's a lot of opinions about how I should be starting the series. It is what it is, but I hope that you stick around and enjoy the video anyway. So Throne of Glass is by Sarah J. Maas, and this is a fantasy novel about a teenage assassin, but she is the world or Adarlan's most famous assassin. Her name is Celaena Sardothien, and she is pulled out of slavery temporarily to compete in a deadly tournament to become the king's champion. As she battles in this competition, she uncovers dark secrets about the kingdom and her own destiny. Throughout the story, Celaena grapples with her identity from unexpected alliances and faces powerful enemies. The book blends magic, romance, and political intrigue, creating a thrilling and complex tale of strength, survival, and self-discovery. She kind of grapples with her identity being temporarily freed from being a slave because, you know, yay, I'm free temporarily, but the twist is that she has to compete in this competition, and whoever wins this competition will be working as the royal assassin for the king. Now, the reason why she grapples with this, because the king, he is the worst being of them all. The king is responsible for all of the atrocities that has happened in Endovir and Aurelia, basically, in this whole continent. He's the one that's responsible for people dying, families being separated, people being enslaved, whole kingdoms and countries being destroyed. So many people have died because of this king's wrath from the last 10 years. But she's not going to be a slave in the salt mines anymore. So, you know, it's kind of like a catch-22. She's like, okay, you know what, whatever, I'm going to compete in this competition and I'll figure the rest out. So now let's get into the characters that we meet in this book. Celaena Sardothien, as I mentioned, is a highly skilled assassin who was recently freed from the salt mines of Endovir. Despite her tough exterior, she possesses a complex personality filled with strength, vulnerability, and wit. Throughout the series, she undergoes significant growth both as an assassin and as a person. I also want to mention that in the process of me getting these pictures for you, I did kind of come across a little bit of a spoiler. It's okay, I have sacrificed myself for you. But it's just, these fan arts are just way too good to pass up and not post here. And also, you're gonna see me kind of looking down a little bit because I do have my notes here. I'll do my best to not look down as much, but I just don't have a great memory like that. Now, the next person I want to introduce to you is Chaol Westfall. He is captain of the guard serving the royals. He is honorable and skilled in combat. He is super buff, apparently, that's how he was described, and he becomes Celaena's close confidant because throughout this whole competition, he is the one that's like by her side, training her throughout all of this. Now we have Dorian Havlaird. He is the prince, the heir, the son of the king of Adarlan. He is described to be beautiful, charming, handsome, charismatic. A lot of ladies really swoon over him. They want to get his attention just because he is obviously the prince. He's really charming and handsome. What, I mean, how many times do I have to say that? That's all I need to say. But in reality, he really does develop a sense of compassion for the people that his father have ultimately ruined the lives of. I think his compassion really builds off of having a developed friendship with Celaena and understanding more from her perspective of what other people in the continent are really going through, especially knowing that she was a slave. He sees her scars, kind of has a little bit of empathy, and he's like, oh my gosh, do I follow my dad's footsteps or should I be a better person? I mean, I don't know, that kind of is like, now that I'm putting it that way, it shouldn't be that hard, but I bet it is. I don't know, I'm not a royal. I bet he's really having a tough time with his identity. Next is Nehemiah Yitger. I don't know how to pronounce the last name, but I'm assuming that her first name is pronounced Nehemiah or Nehemiah. But Nehemiah is princess of a conquered kingdom and becomes Selena's friend. She is intelligent, brave, and determined to free her people from oppression that this king has caused. Nehemiah plays a significant role in the series, advocating for change and helping Selena navigate the complexities of the royal court. I'll be honest, I had a really tough time with trusting Nehemiah. I don't know what it is. Every time that there's like politics or royals involved, it's hard for me to trust someone who is displayed with such good character right off the bat. Like, I really don't trust anyone. I don't even trust, Kale or Dorian. I don't trust any of them. But because Fleetfoot trusts Nehemiah, she's good with me. Fleetfoot, by the way, is Dorian's gift to Selena, which is a puppy. If Fleetfoot senses Nehemiah's energy to be, good and solid, then really that was the only reason why I trusted Nehemiah. The last person I do want to talk to you about is Caltaine Rompierre. I mentioned to you earlier that a lot of people swoon over the prince just because he's so beautiful and he's the heir to the kingdom. Caltaine is totally one of those girls. She'll do whatever it takes to gain a little bit more power, to have a sense of closeness to the prince. She'll do whatever it takes. She's honestly kind of a sneaky little, you know what I'm saying? She's ambitious and desperate for power. That's all you need to know about her. Now, I want to talk to you about just my general experience with reading this book. I did decide to start with Throne of Glass because I watched this one particular TikTok and she just had me convinced that this is the way that I should be starting. But although I think it doesn't really matter in the end, we're all going to get like the same storyline. It's just, do I want to read the prequel before the actual main hub of the story? Or do I want to start with like the hub of the story and then go back to the history, which I ended up doing the latter. Throne of Glass, it's a really fast-paced read. Like, the chapters are very short, but at the same time, really not much happens until you get to 70% of the book, which I think is just very SJM classic. After you get to 70% or the last 150 pages of the book, you're just like, that's me flipping the pages. Things really unfold and get crazy from there. But in this first book, not much is going on. There's still so much to uncover. There's a lot of mystery about Selena. In this book, Selena is kind of hard-headed. What we know about her history is just that she woke up in the middle of her parents who are covered in blood and who have already died. And then after that, she was found by Arobin, which is the king of the assassins. He took her in when she was 8, and then she has been an assassin for 10 years. That is literally all we know up until this point. So I do want to mention that this series is written in third person with multiple perspectives. I don't know if I've ever read a book like that in third person and multiple perspectives. Have I? Was Tomorrow third person? I don't remember. But in this book, it is third person with multiple perspectives. But it really didn't bother me at all. I typically prefer first person reads, but in this book, it didn't matter to me. The story still flowed easily. Now, we're gonna get into potential spoiler territory. So I'm gonna give you a time here just in case I do ruin some parts, but go ahead and skip to this time. We'll come back later and then we'll reconvene. But this is for the people who have already read the book and we want to have a discussion. But I don't want to leave you out. Just cover your ears a little bit or skip. Okay. Now that it's just you and I here, I do kind of want to make it quick. I want to just throw out some questions at you and maybe some statements that you and I can discuss, but I'll try to make this quick. The first thing is Princess Elena. This girl is just popping up. She's just popping up as she pleases. When she's needed, she may or may not be there. She would not be my emergency contact, that's for sure, because I cannot understand like where she's coming from, how she's popping up in and out. Where is she even going? Why is Dorian the way that he is? Like, why is the king, and it sounds like his little brother is a piece of shit too, but Why is Dorian not? Where is that coming from? I don't know. I mean, I guess like we're not our parents sometimes, like at the end of the day. I know there's a lot of you out there who are completely different from your parents, completely different from your siblings. Yeah, I guess that I get. But I don't know. It was a question that I thought to myself. I'm like, he's really different. Just an observation. I'm not making any theories here. I want to talk to you about Dorian and Selena's relationship. So obviously they bonded over their love of books. Well, and I love the fact that Dorian really backed Selena up with Calitane when he was like, yeah, I had this dress made specifically for her. And I was like, he is just like, he's the guy that just has game, you know, when there's like a good looking man and he's charismatic and he knows the right things to say and just like the game is on point, like you can easily be hooked. And I think that that is really where that connection came from. Whereas her and Kale is not at all like as charismatic and straightforward like Dorian. So is Kale getting friend zoned right now? No, don't tell me. Things are brewing right now, and I could sense a little bit of tension, a little bit of a crush. But is he getting friend zoned? Oh. So I think in the perspective of Selena, she's just like, okay, if you're not giving me the time of day, I know somebody who likes me and shows it. So bye. And I think that that's not, I think, obviously that's why Kale got friend zoned. He has strong feelings for her that is deeper than going to put his game out there and shoot his shot. You know, he respects the boundaries. And speaking of boundaries, I love the respect that Kale and Dorian have for each other. They both know that they have feelings for the same girl, but they're homies at the end of the day. They're just homies. So I really love and appreciate that. But obviously, Kale does get friend zoned. She goes with Dorian. And then I like how the book ends with how she ultimately doesn't end up with anyone because she has things to do. She's a businesswoman. She has a career. She has other things to focus on other than love. Do we trust Nehemia? Nehemia? Oh my gosh. This sounds like a condition, like a bowel condition. Do we trust her? It's hard for me to trust, especially on these types of books. And again, I'm bringing up Nehemiah. Maybe this is more of a me thing and why I'm having trust issues. That's a topic for another day. I just couldn't get myself to trust her. Like, does she have ulterior motives? Maybe it's just me. I think it's just me, but she just seemed really sketchy to me. But again, thanks to Fleetfoot, that's the only reason why I ended up trusting her. Okay, now I want to talk to you about the mysterious deaths. I think that this is a great introduction into the fact that magic obviously still does exist. What is that thing on her forehead? I'm sure that this is kind of like sprinkled in there just for us to continue reading, and it's definitely working. I read Crown of Midnight, and I want to talk to you about that, but that's going to be a separate video. So that is where this book is so far. Lot of mystery still, and it's doing a really good job for me wanting to continue this series. I'm not an avid fantasy reader, but this is, to me, the fact that I'm interested, it's keeping me on my toes. It's giving me a good sense of intrigue for me to continue and go on. I'll be honest, I have read Crown of Midnight and I'm so happy with where this series is going. That's going to be a separate video. We certainly will know a little bit more about Selena. I want to talk to you about Crown of Midnight separately because obviously this is just about Throne of Glass. So if you want to follow along and make sure that you see that video, please like this video, subscribe to my channel. It really does help me out a lot. If you stuck around for this long, just know that you are so appreciated, and enjoy the rest of your day or night wherever you are, and bye!